Anybody want to come?
What am I handing? Yeah. Thank you.
How you doing? So good. You were good. See where the hell I wanted around. Hanging out with Cole for an hour. I was like thinking that the building was either the ones you guys probably should have. I do like parking. You know, and I'm like, yeah, I'm parked on a mile of the road. I'm walking. Yeah. It was like, it was real here. I'm like, is that really what I did? So then I come into the first building, I'm like, yeah, that's so I was like, I'm looking down the street,
No, I did on that.
You went up to me. Yeah, I just kept saying, as I was doubling the stairs on the left, going, you guys can't hide from me. You can't. So.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Plan Commission meeting to order. It is 6:34. Looks like all Plan Commissioners are present.
Minus Leah Blankenship is not in attendance, and Tim Hansman, both are excused.
Where would they sit? Jeez, on your left. All right. Well, our first agenda item today is a statement of public notice.
Yes, both items have been publicly noticed, as well as public notices sent out to all property owners within 200 square feet of each of the buildings.
Thank you. Our first real agenda item then is the approval of the minutes from January 28th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion approved. Second.
A motion by Commissioner Dan, second by Commissioner over there. I'm just joking, Eric. Any discussion? Barb? No? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next item on our agenda is a public hearing for consideration of a conditional use permit application for a proposed acupuncture clinic at commercial property 4433 North Oakland Avenue, Suite B, in the village of Shorewood, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin, tax ID number 24001850001. So at this time, it's a public hearing. If there's anybody in the public that would like to speak to the matter, please feel free to step up to the microphone, say your name and your address, and give your comments. Do we have a staff report?
Justin can read it, yep.
Okay.
Lisa Musick, doing business as Orchid Chinese Medicine, has applied to operate an acupuncture clinic at 4433 North Oakland Avenue, Suite B. The property is zoned B2 mixed use residential. The B2 mixed use residential district is intended to provide opportunities for mixed use development while encouraging residential development. Per 535-27D, clinics are allowed to operate within the B1, 2, 3, and 5 districts as a conditional use, subject to the review and approval of the Plan Commission after public hearing. The parcel is currently developed with a 7,674 square foot, two-story, multi-tenant commercial building containing approximately 5 other tenants. The parcel also has approximately 20 surface level parking spaces on the front, side, and rear of the building that are shared amongst various users. No exterior modifications to the building or lot are proposed with this application. Orchid Chinese Medicine, which has been in continuous operation since 2006, is seeking to relocate their current operations from 2120 East Rust in Bayview to 4433 North Oakland Avenue, Suite B. The proposed space is approximately 900 square feet, located on the first floor. The business offers acupuncture, therapeutic massage, and Reiki services. An on-site herbal pharmacy and nutritional supplements are also available. Professional licenses for each provider are obtained through the state of Wisconsin. Target Chinese Medicine will be operated Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. The business currently employs 5 total employees, 3 full-time providers, and 2 administrative staff. The maximum amount of staff on site at one time will be 3. The business will typically see an average of 2 patients per hour or fewer, with a maximum of 15 bookings per day. Per 535-47D, Parent 6, medical and dental offices require 4 spaces per practitioner, plus 1 space per each additional employee at the time the greatest number of employees are present. Based on the proposed operations, this would require 9 off-street parking stalls, and the site has approximately 20 service level stalls to be shared amongst the tenants. Employees are expected to park off-site per the provided plan of operations. It should also be noted that per 535-30, provisions related to required parking facilities shall only apply to new buildings or structures and substantially altered buildings or structures. The proposed occupancy does not qualify for either of those. Review and approval per 535-25, the Village Plan Commission shall review the site and all applicable provisions in accordance with the conditions under 535-25C. Based on review of the application and existing site conditions, staff has no objections to the proposed operations, but would suggest a condition that the property owner submit assurance that the parking lot be sealed and restriped, including an appropriate ADA parking space within 1 year of approval to better demarcate the parking availability.
Are we allowed to do that? Oh, I'm sorry, we're not supposed to ask questions. So after the staff report, if anybody in the public has any comments, please step forward. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing then and open it up for, do we need roll call or anything to do that?
Nope.
Wait.
I have a question, could I do that?
Yeah, sure, we'll keep it open for now.
This is my application.
Oh, hi, welcome.
Hi. So I did read the proposed condition, and I'm wondering what exactly that would consist of in terms of granting an occupancy permit, and if that is not something that I'm able to obtain since I don't own the building, then what would be the next step?
Very good question, thank you. Did you state your name and address?
I'm so sorry. No, Lisa Bozak, 7121 North Barnett in Fox Point.
Excellent, thank you. And do you want Nathan to answer that question or?
So my understanding, the Plan Commission does have authority because because it's a conditional use, they look at the overall site, and although your space does not impact the parking in any way, it is something that we would look at when a new business goes into a space. What about the site could be improved? It wouldn't affect your occupancy or your business at all. It really would be something that we would open a separate item for the owner of the building to take care of.
Okay, so
It would be a condition, but the owner ultimately would be responsible for satisfying that condition.
I think the board members have questions, but I would wait until discussion.
Is the property owner here?
No.
That was, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd say right away, are we having a discussion yet or no?
No, not yet.
Okay. I'll be quiet.
Why don't we just wait? So did you get we're gonna have a lot of questions on it too. Do you want to wait? Okay. I'm gonna close the public hearing. Does not prohibit you from speaking again. It's just if there was general comments from the public, we would take them at that time. So I'll close it. It is 6:41. And now I will open it up to, let's see, consideration 5B of conditional use permit application for a proposed acupuncture clinic at commercial property 4433 North Oakland Avenue, Suite B in the Village of Shorewood, Milwaukee County, Wisconsin. Tax ID 240-0185-001. And now we can start discussion. Commissioner Dan.
Yeah, so I know Bart Bart might have crafted that, and he's not here, but I don't like the wording of it, because it seems like we're penalizing her and her business for the owner that's not here. So I would already like to kind of take that, if I were to make a motion, and I'd rather discuss it with everybody first, I'd like to pull that out and maybe make it so we give the owner some notice that we'd like to see this happen. You know, it just to penalize her and her business, I just don't feel comfortable with.
I'm gonna guess it's not, just to piggyback on that question, what happens if the owner doesn't do it?
And we would open a separate enforcement is typically what it is referred to as. And they would be required to comply with.
But it's tied to an occupancy permit. Let me ask Nathan that question, Attorney Bear.
Yeah, so I think the first question you asked earlier was, does the planning commission have the power to do that, to put additional conditions on the granting of the use? And the answer to that question is yes, under 6223 under the state statutes, and under 53525 under the village code, as long as the additional condition, which specifically under the ordinance would refer to parking requirements, as long as the new condition is necessary to fulfill the purpose and intent of the zoning chapter in general, we absolutely have the power to do that. I guess the question would be, so I think the question is, what if that was placed on as a condition and was not done within the 1 year, what would the penalty be? Is that correct?
Yeah, I get what Justin had to say, thank you very much, but it's tied to an occupancy permit. It's not tied to a building permit.
And the wording also says assurance of property owner. How are we getting the assurance in granting the occupancy permit if the owner's not here? How do we get their assurance?
While you're, do you want to get into it, or do you want?
Sure. Well, I think, so if I'm understanding you correctly, then the concern is that the individual that we may be imposing a requirement on doesn't actually have the power to redo the parking lot, is that? Okay,
Or-
I get it, okay.
Or desire, or just say, or the money, I mean, I'm a small business owner, just say,
Right.
if I'm a small landlord and, it's not in my budget this year and I don't do it. Now what happens to my tenant's occupancy permit?
And if you contact the property owner tomorrow and they say, no thanks, I mean, what happens then? At least have assurance.
All right, well, maybe another way to approach this is if it's not in compliance, if the parking lot setup is not otherwise in compliance with the building code, my understanding,
Rent it
you
out.
can correct me if I'm wrong, there could be a separate correction order that would be issued, which is a prerequisite to enforcement action, like there would be any other property that was out of compliance with the building code, be it, no railings on a stairwell or whatever it might be. It would be no different than any of that.
Correct.
So maybe the thing to do is separate these things only for the purpose that we may not have the party that has control over the physical area that needs to be redone as a parking lot.
Right.
Is that kind of,
Could you tell us how you would do that?
so I guess you would just leave that out of the motion, and then the planning and development department would issue a corrective order to the owner of the property to say, based on our interpretation of the building code, the way that the lot is set up doesn't comply with the requirements relating to access for handicap parking or whatever it might be, and we're going to order you to correct that, and then we could have direct correction action with the owner as opposed to the tenant.
Go ahead, Commissioner. Here you go, if you want to speak first.
No, I agree with Commissioner Wickman here, somehow. I just don't see it, this doesn't exist to tie an occupancy permit to a correction that should be made by the building owner. But we as a planning commission do not, I'm assuming do not have the authority to direct an action from an inspector or someone else in the planning department, do we?
Well, he's right here, and I'm sure he knows what he's doing for us, so I don't think we're going to direct him.
What do you know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But more importantly, okay, let me ask you this. So for a facade grant, Attorney Bear, in order for us, I'm just going to compare, and that's an incentive and this is a regulation, but I'm just going to compare for a second that in order for us to get, as a small business, a facade grant, the property owner and the tenant sign off. So I don't know why on our conditional permits, I mean, it totally makes sense that that would be required. And I don't want to penalize this tenant this time, but in the future, I don't understand why, if there is a condition like that or not a condition, why do we not have the property owner signing off with the tenant on a conditional use permit? Have we ever done that before? I mean, we do it everywhere else, I just don't know why. Because, and when I say that, as my occupancy permit, right, when I went in, my landlord was there. I mean, because if you need to change out anything on the roof, or when the electrical inspector came in, so they would say you need 20 outlets, replaced, and then sometimes in your lease you're responsible, sometimes you're not. So how does that not happen here?
Well, presumably, the owner of the property has a notice of the hearing.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, I mean, if the landlord had an objection to the use.
With the use with the condition, do they get that? I mean, without their signature of signing off on that conditional use permit with those conditions, then how would they, just a public notice?
Right, I mean, yeah, absolutely, yeah, they would get the public notice because.
But until a motion is made
Right.
with conditions that the plan commission deems relevant, they wouldn't know. Yeah.
Oh, they can read the public packet, but my question is that if they had to sign off on something,
Right.
then they would have a much bigger interest of attending, or,
Are you notifying when a conditional use application comes in, maybe having them sign
Yeah, I
along
mean,
with
a
a business
facade
owner?
grant, a facade grant application has both. You can't apply without the property owner. If there's a chance the property owner would be impacted. Commissioner Kylie Miller and then Commissioner Dan.
It doesn't make any sense to me to make a tenant responsible for building owner's responsibilities, especially when we're not holding the other tenants' permits in that same building to any kind of, temporary penalty, or, they're allowed to do business there for however long they've been there. So that doesn't seem to make sense to have a new tenant be subject to something that's not their responsibility.
I'm going to rebut that for a second.
But I have one other question that relates to parking, that the employees will park off-site in free public parking, and I just wanted to clarify by that means street parking? Street parking, okay.
Okay. So my only, just because I have a small business, it really is that landlords, it is the owner of that properties that needs to be up to code. And if they're, I understand what you're saying, but when you come in and they do electrical inspections for your electrical, for your permitting, if you have to replace outlets, your lease will delegate who is responsible, but you still have to do it to get your permit. So in this situation, that's why I asked about, I do believe that the property owner owns this building in the village of Shorewood. They should be up to code. If we need a handicap stall, in order to rent out another unit, I'm not generalizing tonight, I'm just saying, in order to rent a unit, we have every right to say you need to bring your property up to code, right?
But there are other medical services
I
going on in the same building, so.
Yeah.
Again.
But again, it would be tied, but again, it would be signed off. It's in the interest of that property owner to rent out his building, correct? And there's some bad landlords around here. So, I do believe that we have the right to tie it to that. I just don't think in this situation, there was the proper sign off and notification that would go along with that. I just don't know the process that well.
Well, I'd like to.
Oh, I'm sorry. And then Commissioner,
Doesn't matter.
before she makes a motion, would you like to ask a question?
Oh, you're making a motion?
I'm going to make a motion.
Okay,
I'm gonna second it.
I do have a question. Yeah, my understanding is typically that's the way, like, government can, make a company, or make a property owner come up to code is to prohibit any future expansion or anything. They would have to bring everything up to code at the time, something new, just as.
Like a bathroom,
if
you
you
need a
were.
bathroom. My
Yeah, if
landlord
you
had
were,
to do that.
as a homeowner, adding something, the minute you're doing that, that's when you have to bring everything up to code. So it doesn't seem right that we don't have this process in place.
Or so when they wanted to rent a unit, my unit, landlord had to fix, the whole bathroom had to be ADA compliant. And I didn't pay for that, and it was required. So is there another spot, like a conditional, is there another occupancy permit?
Yes, so again, this is simply the, this is the conditional use. There is an entirely separate occupancy permit
Can it be
for,
tied to that?
it can, and most generally, even on, say, occupancy renewals, we do those every 5 years. We go through, some things are identified that would be a tenant's responsibility and others a landlord. And even during the new occupancy of this business, the parking lot could be identified as needing to be restriped, tied to the occupancy, but responsibility of the owner.
I understand, yep. So is that a better spot? I'm trying to go off of Commissioner Patel.
Yeah, and the only reason I believe that Bart included it in, as part of the condition is because part of what the Plan Commission looks at as the site in totality, and he noticed they have an ADA spot. It's not a matter of that. It's that the striping of the lot is in such poor shape. I believe he just thought, you know, let's just roll it in. If the motion does not include that, it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be done.
You'll probably send a correction.
Well, again,
But instead of sending corrections, I'm just asking, can it be done further along in the process? Like
yes, through the occupancy of the business, yes.
So it wouldn't be a correction action, it would be for them to get an occupancy permit.
Right. So the other caveat is, because we don't want to penalize business owners when there's a correction that is the responsibility of the owner and not the tenant, we issue an occupancy to the business and then we change it over to an enforcement. So when we issue the list of corrections for occupancy, we give it to both the owner and the tenant, so both are aware. And then if the tenant takes care of everything they're responsible for and the owner has a few things left outstanding, at that point we transfer it to an enforcement to the owner alone.
Okay, perfect. Can we condition a motion upon that? I don't know how, Attorney Bear, can you say that upon, you know, issuing an type? Oh, sorry, Commissioner.
I'd like to make a motion.
Sure.
That I move to approve the conditional use permit application for an acupuncture clinic at commercial property 4433 North Oakland Avenue, Suite B, based on meeting the conditions stipulated in 535-25C, period, full stop, not subject to anything else.
Second.
And those conditions are?
That list of 7 items that are listed in our packet, which doesn't not read, you know, the standard for every conditional use permit.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I'm just reading it over quickly because, oh yes, Commissioner Carpenter.
If at the time of issuing their occupancy permit, a landlord does not meet all 7 of the points in 535-25C, they would not get.
This has nothing to do with occupancy. This is just for the conditional use permit. Occupancy permits come next.
These conditions only apply to permits.
Got it, okay, all right, thank you.
Commissioner Patel? I'm just checking, and I would like to ask Justin, in your opinion, are all 7 of these met without that condition in the motion?
Yes.
Meaning, okay. I would just ask then, before, if there's no further discussion, that staff relay back to our director that we look at that in the occupancy permit, and it sounds like it can still get issued to the, and then return into an enforcement, which is perfect. And I do remember that. Okay. Any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Good luck. Looking forward to it. You're in a good spot there. Okay, so we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is number 6. 6A. Do we have, okay, let me staff report first. 6A, public hearing, consideration of a conditional use permit application for Fiddleheads Coffee to serve food or beverage outdoors at commercial property 4334 North Oakland Avenue in the Village of Shorewood, Milwaukee County, tax ID number 23902920001. And I'm going to open it, public hearing, and then I can ask staff for the report.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to open the public hearing at 6:59. And can we have a staff report?
Yes. Giovanna Kubrick, doing business as Fiddleheads Coffee, has applied to operate a 1,910 square foot coffee shop serving premium coffee, non-alcoholic beverages, baked goods, and breakfast and lunch sandwiches at 4334 North Oakland Avenue, within the tenant space currently occupied by Sherwin Williams. The proposed lease space is located within a mixed-use building that features 8 commercial tenants beneath an upper floor of residential apartment units. The property is zoned B2 mixed-use residential district. The B2 district is intended to provide opportunities for mixed-use development while encouraging residential development. The district allows for buildings of exclusively residential use as well as mixed-use buildings with residential uses on the upper floors, retail, office, service, or restaurants uses on the first floor. Restaurants, other than carry-out, drive-in, or drive-through, are expressly permitted as a service-oriented use. However, the plan of operations for the restaurant includes a 1,188 square foot outdoor dining area within a new patio space to be constructed on the north facade of the building. Per 319-2 of the Village Health and Sanitation Code, the sale or serving of food or beverages and the consumption of the same shall be strictly prohibited in outdoor or open locations within 300 feet of property zoned for residential or apartment use, except as may be permitted under Article 5 of Chapter 535, zoning of the Village Code. Article 5 of Chapter 535 relates to the requirements of conditional uses. Since this proposed outdoor dining area is located within 300 feet of land both zoned and utilized for residential or apartment uses, a conditional use permit would thus be required, and an application has been submitted. The application before the Planning Commission relates strictly to the outdoor dining operations, not the general restaurant use. Exterior modifications to the north facade of the building and side yard patio are proposed, and site plans and elevations have been included within this packet. The patio will include tables for dining and seating around the fire pit. All exterior modifications are subject to the review and approval of the village's design review board as well. Extensive interior renovations are also planned and subject to permitting and inspections. Fiddleheads will operate 7 days a week, with hours from 6 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday. They will employ 15 to 20 persons at this location, with a maximum of 8 to be present on site at one time. The business is expected to serve between 275 and 300 customers per day. Deliveries to the restaurant will take place on the east side of the building within the driveway and/or parking lot. Up to 25 deliveries are expected per week. Refuse is proposed to be stored in the current location. Staff has advised that any refuse containers stored in the side yard would need to be screened. As noted in the project overview, the conditional use permit being sought by Fiddleheads relates solely to the outdoor dining area. That area is approximately 18 feet deep by 44 feet long. It is located completely on private property and features a 4-foot buffer to the sidewalk along East Lake Bluff Boulevard. Any plantings that would buffer within that buffer would be subject to the receipt of a special privilege permit from the village board. The outdoor dining area features 44 chairs and 14 tables in an open fire pit with an additional seating for 8 patrons. No refuse or service stations are shown on the provided floor plans. 2 canvas awnings would be suspended from the building and supported by posts within columns at the exterior of the patio. The patio would be completely enclosed with an ornamental fence between brick piers. The hours of operation of the patio are proposed to be the same as the restaurant. Confirmation of any outdoor lighting or music should be discussed at the meeting, noting that also the village commercial lighting standards and noise ordinances do apply. Based on approvals, permitting, and construction, expected occupancy for the business has been proposed for September 1st, 2020. Since the occupancy deals with a substantially altered space as referenced within 535-50, parking provisions required by the code do apply. As a result, the applicant has applied for a special exception to the code under a forthcoming agenda item. A minimum condition of approval for the conditional use permit shall be the approval of the required exception. Again, review and approval per 535-25. It is this board's authority to review the site, existing and proposed structures, architectural plans, neighboring uses, parking areas, driveway locations, and the like, including the 7 conditions listed in 535-25C. Based on review of the application and existing site conditions, staff has no objections to the proposed operations. In addition to public postings, notice to property owners within 200 feet of the application has been provided, and any comments received have been shared with the commissioners.
Thank you. Since this is a public hearing, I'll just open it up to the public. Is there any comments, or the operator want to say anything at this time? Okay.
I will say the only note we got from a resident you all have at your desk is a letter from Joy Frederick. She is the property owner of the multi-unit family or multi-family building directly behind where Fiddleheads is going. So she dropped that off this morning to our office.
Is this letter part of the record?
It will be. It'll be scanned in with the public record, but right now we just received it this morning.
Okay.
So you guys have it all at your desk.
Do you want me to read it into the record?
No, it's going to put it in the record.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it will be added.
And what are the major concerns?
I believe her major concern was parking. She feels like parking could be a problem. She has parking underlined, delivery trucks she's concerned about. She does mention a 4 a.m. I don't know if she's mentioning that in regards to maybe other tenants who have been in that building and who maybe their deliveries have come in at 4. I don't know. But she does reference that time. And then she's concerned about noise and debris and new tenants or tenants. I don't know if this has been an issue either, of using her garbage containers on her site to dispose of their garbage. So those are just a couple of her concerns she had in her letter.
Okay. With no further comment from the public, I will close the public hearing at 7:05. And I will now open it up to, do we read it again?
No, we can just open it up for discussion then.
Okay, we'll just open it up for discussion. Any commissioners have questions? Commissioner Kylie Miller.
I want to start with a question for Justin. I mean, at the patio, the drawings look very nice. I like the idea of it. I do have concerns about how that may move residents. So I have some questions about that. But I'm wondering first, and this seems very similar to the patio that City Market has, which was done some time ago. So I don't recall if that ever came before the Plan Commission. But, you know, the atrium has that rooftop patio. Mosaic has an outdoor patio during warmer months. The Ruckus has kind of a similar outdoor patio with a fire pit. And none of those businesses needed approval from the Plan Commission to serve food and beverages out there.
Did they? Let's just make sure that's not, if that's true.
I think the difference with them, the one
That's why I'm wondering
is
why this-
temporary outdoor. Blue's Egg, I don't think
There's is indoor now.
yeah, so theirs is different, but the other ones are, approval for temporary outdoor seating is different. Theirs is gonna be a permanent outdoor seating area with food. Outside, in theory, outside of that April, I wanna say it's, or maybe it's March
Is it
15th to
different because it's
November.
in right away?
It's not in right away.
No, I understand, but City Market, I'm just what,
City Markets, I believe, is private property possibly as well.
do you know if they had to get us?
We'd have to look into that.
Yes.
That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Blue's Eggs is part of their property, it's
Yeah.
enclosed
So
now.
is the Ruckus, and all they needed from us was a parking exception, because that was just a couple of years ago. And their patio is enclosed and screened from the neighbors, and, you know, it's very similar, but I'm
It
just
is similar to the
curious.
Ruckus.
in a while.
Yeah, so in that, did staff at the time miss a necessary approval? It's possible. I'm not certain without looking back at the record. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know if the ordinance had changed since
Right.
then because of issues that those businesses had. with the
Right, and
ordinance.
again, it comes out of the sanitation
I haven't
code.
approved an ordinance change, so.
Yeah, I don't think it's changed.
Did you have further questions?
I
I have some, but, oh, well, you went.
Sure, let's get to those.
Let's go to yours. Go ahead. We just go down the list.
I'll try to, all right, so that was the main question I have, all right. So I see there's an alley that separates the east side of the building to the apartment building next to it. And so throughout here, we're talking about 2 spaces for the employees and they being a lot. So I'm just wondering where that parking lot is. I mean, I see the alley or driveway, but I don't see a lot except for, looks like one that's behind the apartment building, maybe for those apartment tenants. And I'm just wondering, does this space, are they allotted 2 parking spaces within that lot?
Are we talking about parking next?
Parking lot. It says that there's a
There's
parking.
a special exception.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a-
There's a separate.
It's still on the site plan. She can ask the question.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. It's
Okay.
part of the apartment building for the tenants. That's, as part of that tenant parking, the landlord has told us that there would be 2 parking spots available for us to utilize.
In your lease,
Correct.
designated in the lease.
Yes.
Go. Oh, Attorney Bear.
I just want to make a quick comment that might help direct the conversation and where it goes. As was pointed out in sort of the introduction to the issue, if the applicant was simply going to build a restaurant there, which is already an approved use in that zoning area, there would be no need for the special, or the conditional use. What drives the need for the conditional use is the outdoor area.
Which
because of
also
that.
ties to parking. It's how many more tables?
Well, the question, right, I mean, but the question really becomes then, the discussion should be related to how specifically how the outdoor area impacts all of those other things in 525C. But the other thing is under the statute, which was changed a few years back, and I just don't want to remind you what it is. It says, if an applicant for a conditional use permit meets or agrees to meet all the requirements and conditions specified in the municipal ordinance or those imposed by the board, the municipality shall grant conditional use permit. Any condition imposed must be relevant for the purpose and based on substantial evidence. So in other words, the analysis is, if by substantial evidence, the applicant can establish that all of the conditions or all of the concerns raised in 535.25 sub C can be met, then under the statute, the conditional use must be granted. So I thought that might help direct the conversation. And there's a separate application for a special exception as it relates to the parking.
Right. There's just that general requirement that really is the catch-all that kills us all. So out of those 7, yes, Commissioner.
So can I maybe then, I think Bart in his thing, he wanted us to ask about outdoor music.
Yes.
When you read that, so maybe could you tell us about that?
Sure.
Music?
Absolutely.
Okay, just- 'cause
Outdoor
I think
music
that's,
isn't allowed by code, is that correct?
Well, it depends.
It's not, but
409.
that's why I don't like to mention it. But let me just check. We usually avoid that
it
conversation.
was on Bart, it was Bart.
Yeah, I know, he's not here.
And I did my homework.
Just letting you know. Okay, well, while he's investigating that, you don't mind going on to the next question for a minute?
Well, my next one was gonna be a motion, so we'll skip
Okay,
that.
I have a few,
Do you want us to respond?
I don't know if you should until he checks this, because there's no outdoor music allowed.
I don't think it's allowed by code.
I'll
But he's
withdraw my
checking.
question.
Only because we had to deal with this with facades, with arclets.
Right. But I don't think it's,
All right.
yeah.
We'll find out later. I have a few just technical questions.
Go ahead.
You sure?
Yep.
I usually speak last. Go ahead. Commissioner Kudo.
I have a question for the applicant. In the letter from your neighbor, they discuss what they think will be 4 a.m. delivery trucks. Can you describe for us what the conditions will be? There seems to be a fair number of deliveries, 25 deliveries made per week.
And are you gonna be asking for what are those things, a loading zone?
So our deliveries are typically come from fiddleheads. Most of the deliveries come from fiddleheads on a daily basis, which includes the bakery deliveries. We deliver in a small van, is typically what we use for all of our deliveries. Typically, our drivers will pull up in a loading zone to deliver product. It's a typical quick delivery of about 5 to 10 minutes of bringing the product into the store. We also do get a couple of deliveries a week from a milk delivery, as well as dry supplies. So just kind of the cups and containers and things like that typically come from something like Belper. And those typically happen once or twice a week. So majority of the deliveries are with our personal or with our business vans, and those are the daily deliveries, which is why there is kind of
Is there currently a loading zone? Does anyone know?
There's one there right now for Sherwood Williams. I believe the loading zones are tied to business. So I believe once they would be done, you guys would have to apply for a special privilege for a loading zone.
And could they pull into the alley right behind the building?
That was my question is, it's kind of like, what's the French restaurant right there, Boulangerie?
No, sure.
They have small vans that take it back and forth, their bakery deliveries, but.
Yeah, but they have a parking lot in that off the street.
That's true. Are you allowed to have, Justin, are you allowed to have deliveries in alleys?
Yes, so again, this is a private alley. It's actually on the parcel.
Oh, okay.
And that parking lot, as they were discussing before, serves the residential tenants above this building, not the building to the east. So yes, if the building owner allows it.
It's like a parking lot.
Yep.
And have you discussed that with him?
But
We have,
to
yes.
be clear, there are no 4 AM deliveries. Our staff arrives at 6:15 to get prepped for a 6:30 opening. There isn't, this isn't a significant restaurant or a cafe, coffee house. The van that would pull up is just an ordinary van that is from our delivery that would be dropping off food products, bakery, sandwiches for this afternoon for lunchtime. So that's what you should expect.
Sir, what is your name?
Oh, Ray Marcy, sorry, one of the owners.
And how do you spell your last name?
MARCY,
And your address?
11533 North Parkview Drive, Macomb.
Thank you.
Commissioner Carnella?
Just
sorry.
for the record, one of the other concerns of your neighbor was coffee roasting, but from your application, it looks like that's not being done at this
We
location.
would not be doing any
You're just
coffee
making
roast,
coffee.
just brewing coffee.
Okay, just want to.
Does the neighbor want us to? Or?
Maybe they like the sound. It's not good morning.
The answer is no, we wouldn't.
That was your question. Anybody else? Yes. Okay, sure. Thank you.
Because the main concern is the effect on neighboring properties, and this is the mixed-use district. I'm just wondering, is there currently an apartment above the paint store? So any noise, any lighting, any music, that affects that apartment that will overlook the patio as well as
I'm
the
assuming they were
apartment
constructed
building
together.
and houses.
Were they constructed together as a mixed-use building with the apartment above?
I believe so.
Right?
Yeah.
Wasn't it, it's not like a separate building?
No.
Or you ask if there's a current tenant maybe?
Right. You know, as opposed to an office space.
Sure.
Because, you know, unlike some of the other outdoor places, this is all day, every day, so I can see where anybody living adjacent to that, you know, would be concerned about the impact on their.
I think they're all residential upstairs.
Okay.
And they got notices?
They did get noticed. Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Dan?
So, again, when you said the alley, Justin, it's
Private,
the,
it's a parking lot.
it's the private alley though of the property in question, right?
Yes, it is.
And then just the apartment building, just have an easement to use, you know, to get back to those parking spaces.
Again, so if you look at the small map that's shown here on page 13 to 29, you can see it. You can see the lot line there. It's an odd lot, but the space where the owner of this building, the mixed-use building here, owns that entire parking area. The apartment building to the east has no parking at all.
Yes,
So
Mr. Kudo.
for refuse, garbage, trash from regular business usage, where would that be stored?
So our understanding is that currently, that is to be stored in the alley. That's where they should be,
The private eye?
the private alley, correct.
So that
Thank you.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that private alley is a one-car private alley, so if you stored the refuse there, you would not be able to drive in or out of that alley. Now, if it was stored back by the parking spaces, that might be a different story.
Well, it looks like there's a little space. The patio's not.
But that's not the alley, that's,
Well, I know what I'm saying, but it looks like there's a little space, the patio does not extend fully to the east end of the building. So there's like, they could tuck those in under the, next to.
so then my question would be, is the plan to put the refuse containers between your patio seating with that wall and the alley, which would be basically adjacent to this property owned by Joy Frederick?
So our understanding was that most of the tenants of the 8 retailers keep their refuse in the back where the alley is, and that's where it could be stored. Another option that we could propose and have done in other cafes was to enclose and build out a space for it. So we did allow for that area in the back behind the patio to have a space for it if necessary.
Covered, correct? That's the condition that the
Correct.
staff is recommending?
And,
Sure, go ahead.
I'm David Schrader, I live at 1819 East Lake Bluff, so 2 houses. I can state that today, the trash cans do sit, or the trash receptacles are sitting in front of the building, and you can see them when you drive by. So they are not today in the alleyway as it's being proposed.
Is that a positive?
Yeah,
It's not
If you
positive.
look on Google Maps, so where the trash, the dumpsters currently are, they are sort of in the alley, but definitely visible right next to where this proposed patio would be, but there is still access to the private alley behind the building.
So,
They're facing Lake Bluff.
So they're about 15 feet off the sidewalk of Lake Bluff. I think, would you like to see
They're
that?
essentially the northwest side of that building.
is there a concern?
Well,
Would there be
I mean-
more for this type of business than they have today for the big store?
More trash receptacles, is that what you're saying? And it's food, I'm assuming, so food has a smell, correct? But anyhow,
And friends, little friends.
let's answer that question first. Tenant, who could, Justin? Does the restaurant typically have more refuse than like a paint store, like a retail store?
Sherwood Williams probably has as much recycling refuse as the restaurant would have garbage.
And they're both in the same container anyways for commercial,
Right.
is that correct? I mean,
Yeah.
which is very odd, by the way, everyone, because we don't require commercial.
They're supposed to, yeah, supposed to have separate containers.
Okay.
Yeah, there's space limitations, it's an existing village.
I'm just
It's hard to-
thinking, yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I won't rat on all our neighbors. Commissioner Carpenter and then Commissioner Hand and then Commissioner Carpenter.
just to be good stewards to the neighbors